Hello class, for our Module 3 lesson video and our final module in the inclement weather unit, we're going to be talking about solving two-step word problems involving all four operations and assess the reasonableness of the solutions. When we get our answer, we're going to ask ourselves if our answer makes sense and if it makes sense to what it is we're trying to figure out in the problem. So we're going to get right to it today. Joe has $173 in the bank. He earns the same amount of money each week for 7 weeks and puts this money in the bank. Now, Joe has $208 in the bank. How much money does Joe earn? There's a lot of steps in this problem, but remember, with the read, draw, write process, we read it, we draw a model, and then we write out our answer. But first, remember, I like to figure out what we know and what we're trying to solve. Well, I know he has $173 in the bank. He earns that same amount of money each week for 7 weeks. Now he has a total of $208 in the bank. What we're trying to solve is how much money does Joe earn each week? Well, remember, when we're doing the read, draw, write, we can also draw a picture to help us solve our problem here. Well, I know that Joe has a total of $208. However, before he started earning all of his money, I can see here he had 173. So the question is, how do we go from $173 the whole way to $208? Well, remember, he earns the same amount of money for 7 weeks. So one thing we can do is to subtract 208 minus 173. We're also going to use the letter M to represent the unknown. Now when we're subtracting, we're trying to figure out the difference. We're trying to figure out, well, how much money did he earn? So we'll put 208 minus 173. Solve our ones column first. I can do 8 minus 3. 8 minus 3 is, think about the answer, 5. I cannot do 0 minus 7, so I have to go next door, borrow 1, add 10 more. 2 turns into a 1, the 0 turns into a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So now I know that Joe had a total of $208. He started with 173. However, to go from 173 to 35, or 173 to 208, he had to add $35 more into his bank account. Now remember, our objective said we also assess the reasonableness of our answer. So one thing I can do is I can go backwards and add, just to make sure that my answer is correct. Well, 5 plus 3, does that equal 8? It does. 5 plus 3 equals 8. So I know my ones column is correct. 7 plus 3, does that equal 10? 7, 8, 9, 10. It does. So I can assess the reasonableness and see that 35 is the actual correct answer. However, we're not quite done with this problem. We still need to figure out how much money he earns for 7 weeks. So with my tape diagram, why don't we split apart our tape diagram into 7 weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to represent this using the letter W. However, we're going to write a new equation. This time we're going to be dividing money. So we start it with $35. We're dividing it into 7 weeks. We're going to put W to represent, well, how much money does he earn each week? One strategy I like to use when I'm dividing is I like to think about, well, if I would count by sevens to 35, how many times would I count by sevens? So I'm going to count by sevens so I get to 35. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. I counted by 7 5 times. W equals 5. However, we can also check our work and make sure that 5 is the correct answer. There is another strategy we can do. We can count by ones and put 1 in each group until we get to 35. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. If I look in each group, I do have $1, 2, 3, 4, $5 in each group. So how much money does Joe earn each week? He earns $5. One thing we can do is write our answer out. Joe earns $7 each week Joe earns $5 each week for 7 weeks. Read, draw, write. Read the problem, draw our diagrams, write out our answer. Now you try.